Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Dart Zone Max Tomcat. This blaster came out this year in 2022 exclusively at Target. It's only available to be purchased online and shipped to your house. They don't have an option for in-store pickup or anything. And it was shipped in this box, hence the residue left from the shipping label. So yeah, with that all the way, let's get started by talking about the box. Alright, so onto the box. Just really quick, show off the back of the box. There's not much information on the back of the box that's important to us for this review. It just talks about copyright and some warnings about the blaster. Pretty standard stuff. So all the information is on the front of the box, specifically right here. Pretty much the only important information on this entire box is this content list. So yeah, let's get started. The box includes one Tomcat Ultimate Super Drum Dart Blaster, one detachable muzzle brake, one adjustable tactical stock. Let's hope this one's adjustable. One eyewear gear. I think it's the same eyewear gear they give for the Dictator. One Super Drum, two tactical sights, 50 max accurate half-length darts, and one stock rest. Not sure what a stock rest is, but we'll see. Alright, so with that all out of the way, let's get this thing out of the box. Really tape this thing shut. And alright, so here's the Tomcat all out of the box. A couple of paper goods in here. We have instructions telling you how to use and assemble the blaster. We have our dart brochure. We have a warning label telling you not to return the blaster to the store. Here's our 50 max darts. And our max eyewear gear, which yes, this is the same pair that they give to you in the for the Dictator. So there's that. Let's start off with the muzzle brake. There's the muzzle brake. It's a pretty large, chunky thing, but I guess it's pretty cool. Should go on like every other muzzle brake. It's on there like so. I have the Dictator's muzzle brake here. So quickly. So if it's compatible, it should be compatible. It is. Moving on to the stock. This right here, the stock rest, is kind of just like sheet riser for the stock. It attaches to these tactical rails on the back, which is quite interesting. The moment of truth, if this is actually a adjustable stock or not. It in fact is. Push the button, move it. That's 2, that's 3, and that's 3, and that's 4. I guess it's 4 positions. You have 1, then you have 2, 3, and then 4 right at the end. It's pretty cool. Let's attach it to the Tomcat. Kinda cool. By the way, this stock's pretty heavy. I think it's the heaviest stock that I own now. So a Retaliator stock should be compatible. And it is. Not really surprised there. Sights. Here's our front sight. Very simple. Front sight. Rear sight. Kind of a interesting sight picture. It's 2 sets of teeth. Looks like a mouth. So now on to this. This is the Super Drum. Kind of an interesting little device. This thing's going to hold 50 rounds. This drum, I'm going to look at the instructions real quick. So it's going to be stacked, one dart stacked on another. So let me just get the darts out real quick. By the way, this thing doesn't appear to come with spare O-rings, which is a little odd, and most of the time they do. So I think it's just simply loaded in through the rear, it's saying, and then you're supposed to take that and load it in like that. I guess when it gets pushed out, the dart's supposed to like land in place. I think there's like an assist on this, but that's going to be interesting. I have to load this thing. Maybe I'm going to time myself when loading this thing just to see how long it takes to load all 50 rounds. By the way, speaking of loading, let's actually put the magazine in. But of course, I kind of forgot to mention that all the controls on this has a safety selector, which feels a little loose. Pushed all the way on the left is safe. Pushing all the way on the right is fire. And it's a very short trigger pull. I thought it would be a lot longer of a trigger pull because of how wide this thing is. It's not. Simple pump action. And here's your super drum. You're supposed to fit this tab into here, along with the rear tab also, like so. And it's just supposed to fit in there like so. Pulling it back indexes the cylinder. So that means when you prime it, you push all the way back to index it. Similar to the Deuce Pro. In fact, this thing's very similar to the Deuce Pro by having that bar. Alright, so I'm going to load this thing up. I'm going to time myself loading it up and see how long it takes. Alright, we have our timer here. I'm going to put it right here on the table. Have our darts ready to go, and I'm going to start. Alright, so a minute and 39 seconds, so not too bad. It's the first time actually loading this drum, so surprised that it didn't take that long. So now it's all loaded up, probably go outside and see how this thing fares, see how accurate this thing is, and then move on to the range test, and then see how fast it fires. It was a little breezy today, so I had to tape down all the targets, but they should still be knocked over. We're loaded up with our Dirt Zone darts. We're going to see how the Tomcat fares. By the way, this is your sight picture. No idea where that hit. Got one. Got another. Got another. Got another. By the way, this thing has slam fire, so it appears to be feeding well. We're already at the bottom. As you can see, we have a couple empty slots already. So it is feeding pretty well. Probably feel like this was a mistake to fire pretty much 50 darts down range and have to collect all of them. Anyway, this thing seems fairly accurate. Except for the sights. They're not like the Dictator sights. You can just aim it. But it's not too hard to aim. Got all the targets. Try our targets. But it's not too hard to aim without the sights. It's kind of easy to hip fire from. There we go. Thing comes out real easily. I gotta pick up all those darts when doing the range test. But yeah, let's switch over to the Adventure Force darts. Hopefully those can actually be loaded into this thing, which I'm pretty sure they can. Alright, so here we have our super drum loaded up with Adventure Force. See if it even works. Oh, oh my gosh. My arm kind of hurts from using this thing a little bit. It's a little bit of a, it has a pretty heavy prime too. Empty drum. Seems to run both of them pretty well. I mean, after all, they were made by the same company. Alright, so I'm going to clean up the darts and move on to the range test. Alright, here we are at the range test. As usual, for context, chicken is 25 feet, the frog is 40, and the back wall is 50 feet from where I am standing. So here we have our super drum. We have 10 darts on each side. We have dart zone on one side, bench force on the other, and we're going to shoot these darts down range, see how they fare. It is kind of a pain to take the drum in and out, which I'm guessing is the reason why they have the holes on the back and up here, so you're supposed to load it when it's in here. Taking out is probably just for storage. Our first dart, which is dart zone. See how this thing fares. And I'm not surprised. It's gonna hit the 50-foot mark. Very similar to the Dictator. This thing is a 50-foot plus range. Oh. Ah. That was weird. It didn't lock back. I don't like that. What the heck is even going on with this thing? Oh, there's two in there. My gosh, it keeps slamming the thing forward. What the heck is up with that? Alright, so now we're on to Adventure Force. So, 50-foot ranges with the Tomcat. Not too surprised, it is Dart Zone's high-powered line, the max line, so of course it's going to hit those ranges of 50-plus feet. No range claims on the box, maybe in the instructions, but not on the box. I'm just not going to walk over there today, because I know I said I wasn't going to show you where they landed, but just for consistency's sake, I'm going to show off where they landed. Here we have a lot of Dart Zone. We have an Adventure Force right back there. Adventure Force on the wall. A couple of them down here. And then we have a whole cluster of Adventure Force right here. It's got pretty good ranges, 50-plus feet. Like I said, I might do follow-up videos at some point and just see if the blaster holds up to that day. The whole like thing slamming forward without me priming or whatever, I don't know what that's all about. It wasn't doing that earlier. I mean, I did drop it off camera, but I mean, if it has lock issues, it has lock issues. But if it didn't survive a short drop on the ground, then that means it's just not. That means it's a pretty brittle blaster. I don't know. Maybe it's just user error or something. So this all out of the way. Let's move on to the speed test. Alright, so here we are at the speed test. We're going to start out with our super drum here. We are going to be firing 6 of each dart. Starting with Dart Zone. See how this thing fares. 162. 172. 168, 175, 193, okay, 170. Okay, that's with Dart Zone. We're going to move on to Adventure Force. 167, 166, 164, 160s, 176, 137, and 169. Okay, so the Dart Zone darts seem to be going a little bit higher in terms of speed, and also the Adventure Force seem to be going a little slower. Low to high 60s on both, except Dart Zone seemed to be more consistent on hitting 70s, and then a 193, which was, I guess, pretty impressive. So yeah, but that's all out of the way. Let's move on to my final thoughts. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the Dart Zone Max Tomcat? But before we do that, as always, let's go over where I bought it and how much I spent. I purchased this at Target, and it is a Target exclusive, and it's only available online for $69.99 USD. Not much else to say, there's no neutral thoughts, so I'm just going to go straight to the pros and cons. Alright, so cons. Let's start off with some minor ones. Just some minor ones. The safety selector feels a little loose. It feels like it eventually will wear out and be able to be, shaken into safe or shaken into fire. So, just something to keep in mind. It might wear out. Something that might also wear out are these retainer clips, which hold the cylinder in. In the Deuce Pro review I did a while back, I think I mentioned that it also has a set of clips. I think I mentioned that they might wear out over time, so something else to keep in mind. The prime on this thing is pretty heavy. It kind of, it's a little heavy. Could be a con, couldn't be, could not be, who knows. This is Orgarth from the future, just to point something out. The Super Drum retainer tabs here on the drum itself that connects to the blaster, these actually lock out. They lock in a outward position rather than just flopping around. I'm editing the video right now, and yes, we're at the point where they're already out and locked. I just don't mention it because the take that I took where I learned this, I don't remember where I put it. I don't know how long ago. I took over 100 takes on the final thoughts section because it's really hard to explain a lot of things. So just so you know, to lock them out, you pull both sides out and you rotate the back one. I think the little notches here need to rotate 90 degrees, and it locks them in, so these don't just flop around like they do throughout the rest of the review. But during the pros and cons section, I figured it out, but I don't remember where the footage is, so just keep that in mind. Alright, back to the video. So the Super Drum is probably the most annoying part of this blaster. It's also its main gimmick, its main attribute of the blaster is the Super Drum. Yay! This thing is a pain in the butt to load. It's very annoying to load. I have here some Dart Zone and Adventure Force darts. Load in Dart Zone and Adventure Force. The back of the drum, the bottom loading is not difficult. It's the top loading that kind of is a problem to me. Putting Dart Zone darts in, you gotta squish them in there to get them to seat correctly. And I feel like over time your darts will become weaker or even have the knack of ripping the heads off, which I think I did for a couple of these. I actually ripped the heads off while loading it. I don't know why. This is how the instructions tell you to load it, so, Dart Zone's already difficult enough to put in. Adventure Force is even worse. The dart head on the Adventure Force dart is stiffer than the Dart Zone dart head, so it's a little bit more difficult to put in. So just keep that in mind when using other ammo types. Now to the other aspects of the drum, why the drum is a problem. But first, let's look at the blaster real quick and see how some of this, how it works. So here's your priming handle. It's as far back as it will, but you can push it back farther. That releases this little white finger. That white finger goes in these grooves to rotate the drum. It indexes the drum to the next dart. This, by the way, is spring-loaded. As you notice, there's enough spring pressure to push out the pusher, which prevents the drum from fitting in. Several times when unloading and loading this blaster, I've run into that problem. Also the problem of having this little tab thing needing to line up with the slot there. Putting in, it can be negated just by holding this thing steady. Just gonna negate it. So it should go in there easily. So once you have the drum in, you're not safe from all issues. But still, the thing can still rotate while, still rotate. Also, putting your hand here, you have the knack of scraping against the drum, which is why my arm has red marks on it. That's from using this blaster. And you're not safe from that pusher problem either. See, I just pushed it forward a little bit, and I cannot move the drum, cannot take the drum out. It's stuck. Just needs to just push it back and pull the drum out. So that pusher thing is definitely a problem. I think the Deuce Pro might have also suffered from that, but it wasn't as bad. I don't think it had enough power to push the pusher out, but yeah, that's an issue here. That it's just made it more annoying to load. Yeah, but anyway, let's move on to pros. Alright, so on to pros. Overall aesthetics of the blaster, we'll just start with that. They're alright. Not my favorite design, but it's still pretty good. Ergonomics are alright on it too, except for the drum scraping against your arm. That's kind of an issue. But you do get a lot of cool accessories. You get a nice stock, some cool sights, nice muzzle brake that works well with this blaster. I'm not sure how it works well with the others. But you also get a pair of safety glasses and 50 darts, which is kind of cool. We could also say something nice about the drum. It's a high capacity for the footprint it leaves. But, overall, trigger pull is pretty nice. It's low. Yeah, it's standard performance for high-powered dart blasters. We've seen that with Dart Zone several times with their Adventure Force and Dart Zone Max brand stuff. So, standard stuff. So would I recommend this blaster? Short answer is no. Here's the reason why. Part might get a little ranty, so I apologize in advance. So I'm going to re-record the entire explanation part of the video because I was not happy with it. I'm going to be splitting this into two parts. The first part is going to be talking about the blaster. The Tomcat is not a bad blaster by any means. It is actually a very good blaster. It has the same performance and quality you would expect from Dart Zone these days, and it's overall a really nice blaster. It's not a perfect blaster, especially because of the super drum, but it's still a fine addition to anyone's collection. The reason I'm not recommending the Tomcat is because how it's being sold. As of today, the blaster is an online exclusive, and I have no problem with online exclusive blasters as long as they have something special about them. The Dart Zone Pro Mark II, for instance, is an online exclusive blaster, but it comes with a lot of cool accessories, and it in general is a very nice blaster. Very high quality, very small, very compact, and it's a really good blaster. The Tomcat, on the other hand, is nothing special. It's nothing we haven't seen before. It's just a pump action blaster that I feel like should have just been a on the store shelf kind of blaster, not an online exclusive. Another issue with it being an online exclusive is currently Target does not offer in-store or curbside pickup for the blaster. It's shipped to your house, and shipping wouldn't necessarily be a problem if they shipped the product in another box. Instead, they ship it in its own packaging. And if something happens to the blaster, like it gets crushed or rained on, or something crawls into it because they didn't seal the box either, you're going to have to go through a lot of work just to fix it. Because they don't offer returns either. That's what that yellow piece of paper says when you open up the box, which I showed in the unboxing part.
of the video, you gotta email them. And emailing customer service is a pain because it can take days or weeks even for anyone to get back to you, and maybe they don't have the right information or you don't give them the right information, and then you have to wait even longer just to get your blaster fixed or replaced. So that's the reason why I don't recommend the Tomcat. Like I said, if it wasn't for this reason, I would have recommended it. I definitely would have recommended it if it wasn't for the online exclusivity of it. So with this all the way, I'll end the video here. And
Alright, so that's the end of this review. I know this review has been very kind of disappointing and, kind of sounds a little sad, but comment your thoughts down below. What you think about this blaster. Maybe have more positive feedback on this thing. Also, comment down below what else you want to see on the channel. Be sure to check out my Dart Zone Max Dictator review. Also, check out my other reviews. I'll have both those linked at the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.